Divine Connections Magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections Magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections Magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.
Great day. And we want to thank all of our sponsors. That was a video from our sponsors. We are awesome, and grateful for those. This is Dolores Williams with Divine Connections. Divine Connections is a magazine that comes out quarterly in print as well as online. We connect with gospel artists, pastors, entrepreneurs, and great people that's making it happen. And so our magazine comes out quarterly. You can go to divineconnectionsmagazine.com/subscriptions and get your copy of Divine Connections magazines. There are gospel artists, there are entrepreneurs, there are resources. So make sure you get a copy of Divine Connections. So we are on now Divine Connections News. So what's going on with Divine Connections? Our next event is going to be September 11th, Saturday in Burlington, North Carolina. If nothing happens, you know what's going on. And so we have vendor opportunities. So if you're interested in being a vendor, make sure you leave your name and number at 336-338-8903 and let me know that you're interested and let me find out what you do so we can connect you with the masses to share your information. Some more Divine Connections news. We create 30-second and 60-second commercials for businesses, ministries, authors, and gospel artists. So if you're in that category or you just need a 30-second or 60-second commercial done, please let us know. That's one of our services. Also, if you would like to be a sponsor, so the video that played right before was what's from one of our sponsors, and we help get your news and information out there. So if you would like to be a sponsor on Divine Connections program, make sure you email me at divineconnectionsmagazine.com at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com. And of course, it is April, you guys. Time is moving along, and May is around the corner. And in May, it is a Mother's Day. And I'm grateful that my mom's birthday is May 9th, and so is Mother's Day. So that's a double excitement there. But look, I am looking to honor 100 mothers. For Mother's Day, Divine Connection has put together a packet just to appreciate and to share some information and recognition that we love you. So if you all have the best mom ever, or is she your Divine Connections, make sure you go to bit.ly/mom my divine connections. And we have a special packet if you want to participate. You would send in a picture and a paragraph of why your mom is the best mom ever. And information is on the link as well. Also, one of the last things, also, we're looking for sponsors. We would love to have 100 sponsors to help us honor our mothers for Mother's Day. If you have a Mother's Day gift in your business, it can be clothes, it can be jewelry, anything a mother would love and put a smile on her face. You want to stay connected and be a sponsor for our Mother's Day campaign. You can go to bit.ly Mother's Day sponsor. And so I am definitely grateful for what's going on. We always want to take the opportunity to let our mothers know that we are definitely grateful and we are blessed to have them. And you only have one, so make sure you honor them while they are here. All right, so to stay connected with Divine Connections, go ahead and go to our Facebook page at Divine Connections Marketing, like that page. And then also our Instagram is Divine Connections, one word. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is The Divine Connections. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So make sure you stay connected. We have great guests today. So make sure you like and share and comment on this video. And so we're going to actually play a little bit of a clip right before I introduce them. So just hold tight and we'll get them on.
When they hear gunshots.
That such a thing will never happen again.
Protests grow larger and louder across America after 3 white police officers shot and killed Breonna Taylor in Kentucky. And George Floyd lost his life under the knee of an officer in Minnesota.
George Floyd, say his name. George Floyd. Orlando Castillo, say his name. Orlando Castillo.
Though miles away, these recurring incidents hit close to home for this former police officer. Terrance Howell joined the Franklin, Virginia Police Department years ago, hoping to make change in his community.
As a police officer, you're wired differently. Most people, when they hear gunshots, they're running away from where the shots are coming from. As a police officer, you're trained to go to where those shots are going.
Franklin's police chief still remembers Terrance for that little something extra he brought to the job.
We come into this business with the thought that we're going to change the world and do good things. In the 5 years that Terrance was with us, he did good things and he changed at least the impressions of many people in this community in a favorable sense as to how police officers in this city are viewed and trusted.
Terrance's faith fueled his work ethic, but it also triggered a change.
So you're comfortable, you're serving the force, you doing what many would be considered an honorable career, and to be a man of color doing it too, also honorable. What's happened? Is there a wrestling inside you? What's going on? I always wanted to be a musician. Music was something that was just very important to me, running through my family. My family is basically a family of musicians and ministers, and I wanted to also be a musician. I can remember many times, especially when I was working the night shift, I would have just thoughts and just visions. What if I pursued music? What if I gave it a shot? I wonder what could happen. And I will always have that in the back of my mind, but then reality will set in. This is what I'm doing now.
Terrance convinced himself law enforcement was the right career until an unusual encounter completely changed the direction of his life.
I was actually thinking about music and actually thinking about a career in music when I was serving subpoenas. And one day I was just going door to door, hanging subpoenas on the door, and there was an older gentleman who was just watching me on his front porch, rocking back and forth, just watching me.
The man called out to Terrance.
He called to me, he said, "Young man." I turned, he didn't say officer or my badge or my gun. He said, "Young man, come here." So I came to where he was, pulled himself up on the railings, and he looked at me square in my eye and said, "When are you going to put that badge and gun down and begin your real work, son?"
In shock, Terrance asked the man to repeat what he said.
"Your real work is in the kingdom of God. Your real work is in ministry. And it's only so far you can go wearing that badge and gun. It's time to put it down and begin your real work."
He has never seen that man again.
I knew it was of God. So I made that decision right then to
take the leap of faith and to jump.
That leap has propelled Terrance into a successful music career. In 2014, he launched Revival Music Company. And it's more than just a label. Terrance says it's a movement to bring unity and healing across diverse communities.
My joy from today's session was bringing in people together, people of different backgrounds, different races, coming together, united in one goal, and that's to worship and to show love to one another.
It includes musician Joseph Stallings and Sharon Jackson.
I've been in a lot of groups and played a lot of music, sang a lot of songs. But what's different about revival worship is that it's not about the song. It's really not about the music when it comes down to it. It's about the relationship between people.
Each person is important. And then the other thing that I love is that we are so different. And I love that. I think that says a lot in our culture when we're from different churches, we're from different ethnic backgrounds, from different denominations, from different places, and we're able to come together and make this really cool music together.
It's a sound Terrance says always carries a special music. His new song, Untainted Love, is no different.
This love that he has for us is untainted. It's not tainted with the failed expectations of, I fell short of his glory today. I didn't quite measure up as a Christian today of where I should have been. But his love, it goes beyond that. It transcends all of that.
It's a powerful message Terrance hopes will transform lives, heal communities, and bridge the divide.
Awesome. All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, loud and clear.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You all, this is my guest. All right, there we go. This is my guest, Mr. Terrance Howell, and introduce the young man with you as well.
Jesse Wood, my right-hand man.
Good to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you all. Glad to have you all. Love that video, Finding Your Passion. So tell us, just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about both of you.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Terrance Howell. I'm president of Revival Music Company. This is my right-hand man, Jesse Wood, who's vice president of Revival Music Company and in charge of all operations. So we have a pretty unique relationship. I'm the president, but Jesse is the one who's in charge of all of our operations. So Jesse actually has the final say-so of what we accept and what we don't accept. So it has to go through Jesse first. So if he doesn't like it, Jesse can pretty much, put the stamp on it and close the deal.
Awesome, awesome. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Jesse. As Terrance said, I get paid a decent amount to babysit him and make sure the engine of Revival Music Company keeps going. And it's beautiful to do things as a team, and I can't imagine trying to venture out in this business with anybody else. I really didn't. My story is different. I was a musician, but getting into the industry, coming alongside Terrance, it was definitely something that the Lord immediately gave me peace about doing. And we're different, but we're the same. So it's definitely a divine connection, divine partnership. And I don't know how we could have figured it out on our own, honestly, without the Lord doing it. Ever since then, we've just been trying to not screw it up.
Right. Absolutely. That's right.
Awesome, awesome. So how did you guys meet?
Well, this is a really, really great story. And I would love for Jesse to share the details on that. So Jesse.
Yeah, it's a few different interconnections. In the video that you just watched, you saw that one of the gentlemen that's a part of Revival Music Company is Joseph Stallings. But his older sister, Demetria Stallings, I met through a network of friends. She's an amazing vocalist, extremely prophetic. And the Lord connected us kind of as a brother and sister. I've also done artist management in the past. So I've kind of dipped my toes in the water of the industry. Didn't really care for the hustle and grind, because who you're with and who you work with makes the difference in everything. But meeting Demetria, I felt the Lord say yes to that connection. So that helping her out and with different opportunities that she was getting, she was dragging me along, because just like with Terrance, I was really managing. I do a lot of the back end. I'm highly technical. I'm very organized. So God will always pair me with these dreamers, like way out here. Like, I have a vision, I have a dream, and I'm going to conquer the world. I'm like, yeah, but we need gas in the car. Like, I'm that guy. But like, yes, I'm with you. I see it, but there's some things we got to do to make sure that happens. Well, long story short, Revival Music Company was a part of an event at the Chesapeake City Park. Terrance, having connections with Joseph, obviously knew Demetria, asked Demetria to come and do a part and be a part of that event. And then Demetria turned to me and said, there's a bunch of musicians, but, you're my bro, director, can you jump in as well? And Terrance agreed to that kind of setup. So the first time we met was actually at that event, really on stage, just worshiping together. And there was already something like, I like this guy. He's cool to be around. Little did I know the mission God had started him on, and him already asking the Lord questions on, like, God, bring me somebody, help me grow this thing, but wanting to do it right. And then from there, I heard through the grapevine from Demetria that Terrance was gonna ask me to consider being a part. And we sat down at a Starbucks and Chesapeake and just immediately connected. It's like, you know what? I know some things. I know probably more about what I don't know, but I'm in. Like, I'm in. Let's go. It feels like everything leading up to this moment is built for this. And sometimes that's just how God works. He'll call you. He'll tell you to go straight towards the lake before it parts, but you just know it's where you're going.
We've been riding ever since, ever since. It has been a beautiful, beautiful journey. It's blown our minds of what the Lord has done. I have to make sure that I mention everybody who's a part, because it's not just me, it's not just Jesse, but we have Stuart McLeod, Jennifer Neal Creasy, Michelle Lappin. These people played a vital role in us getting started. Robbie Jones, Chris Green, and a host of others that just came along and just partnered with us. We literally, I had a friend of mine before we began this journey, and the video that was displayed a year before that, she was killed in a car accident. And her last social media post was, if God ordained it, he will sustain it.
Wow.
And literally what we have been seeing through this whole journey is God literally taking us from one point to the next point, sustaining this upon his glory, upon his will. And we're just at the end of the day, we're just servants for him and servants for the kingdom of God, and helping others and serving record labels and artists, to have their stories and their testimonies heard. The Bible says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimonies.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the music or the industry, the people that you work with, elaborate a little bit on that.
Sure, absolutely. So we are a multifaceted organization. We are a music industry service provider that provides the opportunity to have labels and their artists, their voices to be heard. So what we specialize in our end game is radio. So we partner in songwriting for radio. We produce music production for radio, and then we also do radio promotions all across all Christian format genres. So we cover Southern gospel, Christian country, CCM, and gospel. So some of our clients that we work with are Maverick City Music, Bethel Music, and a host of others. We partner with Ty Scott Records and other labels, and providing services to them as well.
Awesome.
Money do it. That's right.
We actually had a viewer, Miss Pam Jones from River Word Magazine as well, and she said, "Amen, won't he do it?" And she wants to connect with you guys. So that's phenomenal. I'll make sure you get the information. That is awesome. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pam.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So share with us how people can connect with you, and then what's going on next. What are you gonna do next?
Sure, absolutely. People can check us out on all social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Revival Music Company, or, reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Terrance Radio Friendly Howell. So everything, like I said before, is all about radio and making radio friendly music, or Jesse Wood, Jesse F. Wood, on all social media handles as well. Feel free to reach out to us that way. What you see on the screen right now is connect@revivalmusiccompany.com. If you have any inquiries, we would love to be able to partner with you and to hear what the Lord is saying about your ministry and see if we can offer our services to help you in what you're doing as well.
Yeah, it's actually very simple too. If you're on the artist side, if you're an independent artist and you've got a song you want us to check out, or you want to create music for radio, you feel like you're called to make an impact on radio, you can go to our website, revivalmusiccompany.com. You can see more about us and what we're about. There's even a little promo video up there that kind of explains it. But there's also this giant big red button that just says be heard. If you're an independent artist and you want to be heard, just click that button. There's a short form that will come straight to me. It'll help me get to know you, your project. You can put links in there. And there's even an integration where you can set up right there an appointment to talk with us. You can get right on our calendar, see what's available for you. And the wheels will already be in motion for us to have a chat with you. And we love talking to independent artists. We have a heart for all of the industry. So like Terrance said, we work with some of the largest labels in the industry, which is an incredible honor. But most of our time is spent mentoring independent artists and helping them go from wherever they are to the big dream that God says. Even if you're not to the point where you're ready to partner with Revival Music Company, either in production or with promotion, we love to get our hands on anybody with a dream and just guide you and direct you, even if it's, the direction you're going is not us. Because one thing that we have the power and the privilege to do with what God has put in our hands is to take people far in a direction with radio as that tool. But if that direction is not the direction that you're called to go in, we don't want to help you go farther in the wrong direction. So we'd rather talk to you as early as possible and try to figure out, ask you the good questions and kind of pull some things out and go, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. But if it is for you, you can get that direction. Without vision, people cast off restraint. For lack of knowledge, people perish. But with knowing that stuff, with having a vision, a clear vision, you can be effective, you can be efficient in the kingdom, and you just don't waste time.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You was going to say something, Terrance?
Oh, no, just basically piggyback off of what Jesse said. Our hearts with independence is something that we just take to our own personal hearts, because everyone has a story, and we didn't get to where we are overnight. We started literally with the hustle and the grind and just the nuts and bolts. The same as anyone who's just coming into any industry has to come. And the Lord began to open up doors for us and allow us to find favor because of the value that the Lord has given us to be able to share in conversations and the platforms that he's given us that caught different entities' attentions and brought us to the table. So, independents who are really trying to thrive and have their voices be heard, is a really special fight, to have. Whenever you're starting anything in entrepreneurship, business, doesn't matter what that is, the fact that you've stepped out to create something is a God thing in and of itself. So, we thank God that we have the ability to be able to partner with people and help guide their steps along the way and guide their journeys. So that's something that we really, really hold special to our hearts and dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. And I love what Jerry said as well. Like, if this is for you, we're going to help you get there. If it's not for you, then we don't want to help you go to the wrong direction. I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us exactly, what are your services that you provide?
Yeah, that's an easy breakdown. It's essentially classified into two things. It's either production or promotion. all for the purpose of radio. We started out wanting to help independent artists bridge the gap between I've got a song, how do I get it heard? But what we discovered very, very quickly is that a key strategy in bridging that gap is a good song that falls in line with the thresholds and things that different radio formats are looking for. They can't say yes to every song, even if they love it, if it doesn't fit inside their uniquely shaped box of their format. And so we figured out that as we were getting independent artists, it's almost impossible. And we tell artists this all the time, don't feel bad. It's almost impossible to try and cut your first single, your first album. You're picking, a decent producer that you can afford. But then to have a song not only have all the bells and whistles, but also magically fit all the hidden things that radio needs, that's not really out there. Most producers don't even know what these thresholds are. So Terrance and I had to figure out, we're going to have to start from scratch with artists, listen and look for potential, but we're going to have to start really with production. So a lot of independents will start with production. We'll listen for potential and the stuff that's sent over. I'm screening music all day long, and I'm not always looking for the song that's the most radio ready, but I'm looking for potential, and we're looking for that desire and that heart. And then we're having a conversation on, this is a building block to where you want to go if radio is it. But let's combine together as a team and all the gifts that God has put us together to get into the studio and produce something that then we actually believe that is competitive to radio. Then we can shift to promotions. But essentially just those two things.
What Jesse said is so true for any independent artist. And we know that there's no competition in the kingdom of God. It's enough for us all. Right. Okay. But when you're talking about having your song on radio, it's very competitive. Okay. So you can't have a drop off going from, if it's in gospel, from a Donnie McClurkin or Corin Hawthorne, Jonathan McReynolds song, and then they go to your song and it sounds like it was recorded in your mother's basement on GarageBand. There's just certain standards that you have to make sure that it has to be able to cross. If it's CCM, after they finish spinning Lauren Daigle and Chris Tomlin, you have to make sure that they can segue over to your song and there not be a drop off. So, and we work with labels, and the labels have all of these theme templates that allows basically the artist to throw things at the wall within the comfort of the four walls of the labels, see what sticks. And then the label is going to run with what sticks to that wall and start the processing phase of how to package it, market it, and ship it out. Okay. And the artist is just, and what we pretty much call it is like a cow in a pasture. You want that cow to be able to make milk. So you want them to eat as much grass as they can, roam around. They're not worrying about how it's being packaged to pat milk, what containers is going to be in and all of that. They're out there on the plant, on the farm, just eating the grass. And it's the same thing when you're talking about major labels with their artists. The artist is just able to create. Now with the independent, you have to be more strategic because you don't have that processing team. So everything that you do, you just can't throw it to the wall and see what sticks. Radio is broken down to formats and is making sure what you have is going to be competitive in the market that you're trying to enter into. Because if it doesn't cross certain thresholds with production, with the musical timestamp, it's going to get lost and thrown out.
Yeah, one of my favorite questions on our forum that we have for artists to fill out and submit is, who is your intended audience? And I want to know what it is, but I'm also gauging the depth of someone's understanding and knowledge in this concept. Any inventor who makes a product, either you can invent stuff and your house can just be full of your own cool stuff, but if you want to sell your product, you got to figure out how to present it and package it and get it into a store. And what I tell independents is, whenever you say the phrase, I don't want to be put in a box, it's like someone who invented something and saying, I don't want my product to be sold in the store. Now you creatively have freedom But if you want the average consumer going to where they know they can get what they need to discover you, it's got to be able to sit next to something else that looks like it, smells like it, fits it. Yeah, it's a different version of that, but it's still functionally what people are looking for. And so this question of who do you want to reach? I love independence. They're like, the world, anyone who's broken, people who need the Lord. I'm like, yes. But what specific people in that? Because we only have one life to live. Terrance and I are completely separate people. We have this spot that we overlap in, but I don't have enough time to reach everybody Terrance is going to reach. And Terrance doesn't have enough time to reach everybody I'm going to reach. So we got to ask the Lord, part of our journey is, God, who am I reaching? Jesus even told the disciples, go to where the Holy Spirit leads you, go from home to home, and don't even greet the person on the road. He's saying, don't waste time with the people that you're not meant to spend time with, because I've already designed, and my spirit is already resting on and anointing and ordaining divine connections with the people that you are specifically going to reach. And Paul said, I become like a Jew to reach a Jew. I become like the Gentile to reach the Gentile. So we got to really help independents know, like, you getting into a box is saying, how do I speak this person's language? How do I figure out where they're coming from so I can relate to them? So then I can take them on a journey with me through music and song to connect to the story so that my testimony can bring freedom to their life.
And I'll piggyback off of what he just said again. And also it goes back to very practical, common things that the Lord has given us as well in understanding business. Okay, it doesn't matter what business it is, whether it's a mom or pop store on the corner, fast food, or whatever it is, hardware store. It all falls down to supply and demand. Mm-hmm. Every business, I don't care what business it is, it all goes to supply and demand. Right. What is the demand, and how are you supplying it? And are you supplying something that's in demand? And if what you have is not in demand, then how do you create demand for it so that you can supply it?
Come on now. I like that. I love that. I love that. I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna let y'all roll. I'm enjoying this.
It's good. It's a lot of basics to us, but the beauty is helping artists shift their mindset from just this free creative, like I was in prayer and God gave me this song. You don't realize when the Lord had Noah build the ark, he gave him wood by wood, nail by piece by piece. And we'll get so wrapped up on this piece of wood that we just cut out of a tree and sand. And God's like, this is just a piece of what I'm trying to do. So sometimes we got to tell artists, think bigger. And when artists bring us songs, it's like they have this baby and they just birthed this beautiful baby and they're so excited. And the moment they get into a creative environment or in the studio, and we've had this happen, and we've walked through this journey even with each other, is your ideas are like your baby. When people start to critique and shift things around, it feels like someone's ripping the arms and legs off your baby. And it's very painful. It's very, very hurtful. But we are like clay in the Lord's hands. He is shaping us. And one of my favorite, better ways to see this is not as a baby, but as like when a sculptor goes to create a beautiful marble, figure. They know that they have to start out with a piece of marble or rock that's way larger, way bigger than what the intended final product's going to be. And they get that thing in place, and then they start chipping away. They chip away, and they're looking every angle, top to bottom, up, down. They don't miss an angle, and they're chipping, and they're chiseling, and they're chiseling. So when artist comes, like, you know what you're doing? You're presenting to us a piece of marble stone with a concept. And now all of us are going to do this 360 with a chisel and a hammer, and we're going to chisel away at this thing to help what's the potential that's inside of that stone, or in your idea, in your calling, to really help pull that thing out. But you got to be okay with that chipping and that honing. But iron sharpens iron. We see this all in the Bible, but sometimes pride and just our own hurts can keep us just holding on to this baby. Like, nope, Lord gave it to me like this. Don't touch it. It's like the Lord gave you wood, but you're not even a craftsman. I'm a craftsman. Okay, can you trust me? And God is saying, can you
There it
trust
is.
me? When he puts people in your life,
Yes.
he's like, can you
Yes.
trust me?
That's right. And everything you're saying is spot on. Is so true. You know, and that's one of the things is in the process that the Lord sends you on. You have to trust the people that He partners you with.
That's
You
right.
know, I wrote quite a bit of songs before Jesse, but since Jesse and I have partnered, since he's been in the position that he's in, the songs that we've created together are better than anything that I've ever written. And that's trusting the Lord with what He has given Jesse and what Jesse brings to the table. And having that ultimate trust. So when God brings people into your life, sometimes like an artist may want to hold on to that song that they've written. That's their baby. Or, you know, if someone in business might just want to hold on, you know, to what they have because they feel like that they're losing power. It's not yours to begin with. It's God's. He's given it to you. So everything that He brings to the table is to enhance His own creation. You know, sometimes we get caught up on ourselves and, oh, I did this and I did this. No, this is all the Lord's, you know, and it's His doing. He started it. He can stop it at any time. So when He brings people into your life to partner with, you have to trust their assignment and you have to trust the God in them. So, you know, there's not a song that we write now that Jesse is not involved in. There's not a song that we produce, you know, that the whole team is not involved in, because the power is in community, is not in individualism. And a lot of times what happens is that we get caught up into what we're doing and we try to hold on to it. But the Lord can really bless if our hands are like this versus our hands are closed. So we always want to make sure that our hands are open and that we're serving with the right attitude to be able to give our all and what God has given us and be a blessing to the people that He wants to reach through the ministries and the pathways that He has us to cross. So, you know, that's very, very, very important to us and something that we hold dearly.
Yeah.
Awesome. What areas do you serve the music in? Once they come through production and promotion, what area does the music cover?
Well, when people come to us for production and promotion, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have something that is serviceable. Okay. Something that we're going to be able to service to our friends in the radio community that they would appreciate. Okay. As I was saying earlier, you have people come in and think that they have the best song in the world. But if you're pitching a song over to CCM, it is very, very lyrically driven. It's a lyrical format. So the music is dialed back, is not as busy. You have about 4 chords because the driving force is what you're putting in lyrically. Okay. And we give this example all the time too, Dolores, is in gospel, you can say that my car is in the driveway. All right. But in CCM, you have to say what type of car it is, describe the day, get very, very descriptive with your adjectives, and differentiating in between the formats of where you're trying to go. Because if you're servicing to gospel, is going to have to be processed a certain way that will hold the attention of your gospel curators. And if it's in CCM, it has to be processed in a certain way that will be able to hold their attention of the music curators as well. So what we do is that we make sure that it's first serviceable. And then once it is serviceable, then we come together on a plan of strategy. Okay. Our whole thing is about allowing your voice to be heard. So if you're taking an artist that no one has ever heard of, that no one has ever seen before, how do you make that artist stand out? How do you make their music stand out? How do you make their testimonies stand out? So we literally put together packages because there are no 2 songs that are the same. There are no 2 artists that are the same. So each artist is going to need their own personalized package of promotions dealing around what they're trying to accomplish. Success for everyone varies. Some people just want to be heard. To go from 0 to 15, 20 miles an hour, they're happy with that, because it's taking them somewhere that they've never been. That's your definition of success, being able to record something professionally and being able to present it to public. That is their definition of success. And then when we're dealing with the labels, the definition of success is even more defined. It's more getting on your Billboard charts and things like that. So, is first of all understanding what is that definition of success. We like to always manage and maintain expectations. Don't think that you're going to just kick right out of the gate and you're going straight to number one on Billboard. That's not the way that it works. It takes time. It takes is a grinding process. People have to get to know you and get to know who you are, and become acquainted with you. So it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. And Terrance, I think it'd be good for you to also say what specific formats that we service to. But one thing that we tell every artist is that you are not our customer.
Right.
The artists are not our customer. The customer, well, let's start with the goal. The goal is to be heard by people who are on the other end of a speaker that's tuned into a radio station. That's the goal. The people that are in charge of that, or the gatekeepers of who gets played, are radio program directors. So they are our customer. Those are the ones that we have to serve. And so we're constantly, when we talk about formats, Dolores, what we're saying is that we have to keep in mind what each customer that we have, all these different program directors, what they're looking for and what they need. They need a song like this. That's what they need. And if it doesn't fit that, they're not buying it. They're not grabbing it. They're not spinning it. They're not doing anything with it, which means your goal to be heard is not happening. So artists, you have to tell them your customer is the same as our customer. And really, we're joining forces to help reach your customer with your product that you're trying to get them to essentially buy into and spin. This is why this is so important to understand what radio needs. You can't just say, well, I'm just going to do this song. You're either going to like it or not. And that's fine. You can go that route, but you're wasting money and energy on that. Maybe a Revival Music Company or trying to get to radio is for you, but understanding the formats is the beginning of this whole process, because those are the customers that we have to serve.
And I would love to throw this in here as well, Dolores, is that a lot of independents, this is one of the biggest mistakes that we've seen made, and this is like the perfect time to address it. A lot of times people will go into the studio, unheard, unknown artists will go into the studio and create an album, or create an EP, which is a group of songs, and that is a big no-no. Big no-no. We always advise against that. Okay. The reason being is that when you look at albums and you look at any professional recordings like an EP, a group of songs together, they are for your music fan base. If you're creating a bunch of songs and no one knows, who you are or where you're from, they don't know anything about you. They type in Google, can't find anything, but you have a full-length album that you're trying to get into their hands. That is a big no-no. What we always advise is to have targeted singles, okay? And to attack with the singles, to be able to build the sound, to be able to draw people to the tent. And as the people come into the tent and get to know who you are, you have the fan base, then you can create an EP or an album where your fans, they're wanting more. But the first and the foremost thing is to make sure that they want more of what it is that you're supplying. It's a waste of time and resources if you're out here just making a whole bunch of music and there's no audience to buy it. So we always say, be good stewards, have a plan that's going to target who you want to bring to your tent, and have a promotional budget to be able to attack that art, to be able to attack that audience.
Yeah, it's more like crafting arrows to hit a specific target instead of kind of taking a shotgun and trying to just blast something completely away.
Right.
Well, what we're trying to do is take someone that the industry has never heard of, essentially, and get them into the room of everybody else that is already being spun on radio. If you think, we talk about breaking in artists, if you go to break into a home, if the police are trying to get in, that they use a battering ram and they will hit like right at where the handle is or where the lock. They will smash it. They know exactly what they're doing, and they take that battering ram and they hit it. And if it doesn't open, you know what they do? They hit it again in the same spot, and they just keep hitting just like that till that door opens. Then they can begin to move freely in there. So you know what? Let's get something that's targeted, really craft this thing up, and then build a strategy behind it. Because also, Dolores, one thing that's just business is if you confuse, you lose. And if you throw 12 songs at the world that doesn't know you, here's the tough thing for me in the position that I sit. When I review the forms and things that independents send in, I'm trying to act like a program director so that I can have an accurate feel of what their response is going to be. But I'm also tasked to be more merciful because I'm here to build a bridge. But if you send me a link to an album of 6 songs, I'm immediately kind of stressed out because I don't have time to listen to all 6 of your songs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click through all 6. But if you just sent me one, chances are I'll listen to the whole thing. But 6, it's very hard to get through. And actually, I'll go to Spotify or something like that, just search the artist, and I'll just click on the one that spun the most and just listen to that one. And this is the place that program directors sit in. And so if you're throwing all this stuff out there, it gets very, very hard. Better for you to be in control and to really curate this thing well, because then when people get thirsty and they want more, we're promoting a song called "Sound of Revival" by a guy
Esteban Ramos.
I want to play that. That's what I wanted to play next.
It's such a good song, and we helped him craft a radio edit. Actually, cut it down to meet the threshold of radio. And within the first week of promoting it, we had a program director reach out. They're like, guys, this song is so amazing, but it's too short. I want more of this song. Like, can you please send me the extended version? So I had to go in and add the extended version to the EPK so that when people are asking for it, they can have it. And we let Esteban know. I said, you know what? It's better that they ask for more than be given more than they want.
Exactly.
Wonderful. I was getting ready to play that next. So while you said that, that was just perfect. So let me play a little clip of it so y'all can see. Hold tight.
Hey, this is Esteban. I just released Sound of Revival. This song is my heart's cry for this generation. It's a prophetic declaration. I believe that there's a generation that is rising up and crying for revival for our families, our nation, and for the church. Signs of a generation. They're crying out for a move of God. Acts 2:2 says, and suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. So God, we cry out, come flow like a mighty wind. God bless. Like a mighty wind, like a mighty wind.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. And Esteban is a perfect example. When he came out, no one knew who Esteban Ramos is. And he's from Connecticut. And when we were putting together a strategy for Esteban, it was really centered around his story and what that sound of revival was and what that sound of revival represented. So what we did was that we put together a targeted campaign of telling that story So we had God TV pick up his story, and before you know it, CCM Magazine. Then it went over. Our publicist, who works with us, dear friend Benita Bellamy, put together just a awesome package together. And now, when you Google Esteban Ramos, Sound of Revival, stuff pops up.
Wow.
You know, from all over the place. And just literally a couple of months ago, no one knew who he was.
Yeah, and then we actually put that video together that you just watched out of clips that he took. So we do that with all our artists, crafting their story. We actually do a write-up as well that just makes it super easy to hand great content to program directors and publicists, because they're our customer again, Dolores, right? So if we're making their job easier than anybody else out here on the planet, and the stuff is good, it's packaged well, it looks good, they're like, okay, I have artist A and artist B. I like both of their songs, but this one just has a song. But this one has a story. He's got a video. He's got a write-up, and these guys are active. I can get an interview. They're trying to put shows together. They're trying to entertain their audience. They're trying to keep that audience and grow that following. So when we start thinking about what program directors really desire and need, then we can not only bridge that gap, but we become a go-to for program directors. And again, they're the gatekeepers. So they're the key holders, but they're asking us, they're like, send us all the people that you have, because now they have a ton of content that they can pull from, a lot of different things that they can pull together. And so really, it doesn't matter how the door gets open. We're pulling everybody in that we can with us. And it's the beauty of team. It's, yes, there's competition, but when you get the key, then now you can begin to complete each other and work together. And that, to us, truly, Dolores, is bringing revival to the industry. It's working as a family. It's how do we not compete, but complete, so that people who've never heard the name of Jesus are going to hear good songs that pull them in. They have encounter with the Lord, and they're like, I want more. And there's some place they can go to find out more, because we're organized. We're business, but we're kingdom.
Right.
It makes sense, but it's Holy Ghost doesn't make any sense at the same time.
Right. Absolutely.
I love it. I'm gonna play your last video because I gotta get to the next interview, but this has been awesome, and I gotta invite you guys back. I'm gonna play this last video, and then we'll leave with a word of encouragement. You guys have been awesome. You have an audience and everything. So hold tight. Let's see if I can get this next one on, and then we'll leave with words of encouragement, okay? All right, here we go.
Are you an independent artist wondering how to get your music on the radio? Well, now is the time for you to be heard with Revival Music Company. Revival Music Company helps artists stand out in a world full of music and get their music heard. They are a one-stop shop for all your music needs. And Terrance and Jesse go immediately to work helping you realize your dream to get your music and story heard by the world. Are you ready to be heard? Navigate to revivalmusiccompany.com. That's revivalmusiccompany.com and click the red Be Heard button. There's no greater time than right now to be heard.
Awesome. Love it. So let's end with a word of, we got about 1 minute. End with a word of encouragement.
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to say what my friend said before she was killed in a car accident. Her last post: if God ordained it, he will sustain it. Be faithful to the process. Treat music good, and music will treat you well in the process. And make sure you check out our artists, Bethel Music, Dante Bowe's Joyful, Shelly Moore, Forever Now a Crown, Maverick City, Man of Your Word, and a host of others as well. So go check us out.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on. We had a little bit of fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love what
we got lots of fun, Dolores.
I love it. But that's what Divine Connection is all about, the kingdom and different things you're doing in the ministry and getting connected to the right connection. And then we can make this world a better place and explore and just do great things. So I'm definitely excited. We will definitely have you guys back. This is Mr. Terrance And Mr. Jesse, thank you from Revival Music Company. Thank you so much. I'll call you guys back after my last interview, okay?
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. All right.
Divine Connections Magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections Magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections Magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.